It's the most wonderful time of the year, college football bowl season, baby. And there are 42 bowl and playoff games to keep us entertained for almost 3.5 weeks. Starting with Toledo versus Middle Tennessee State and going through the national championship on Monday, January 10th, pick your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper and get every college football bowl game day release, including any 5% best bets normally priced at $35 for the low price of $149. As an added bonus, make sure to download the free WagerTalk College Football Bowl Guide by going to wt.buzz/rm. From everyone at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, good luck this college football bowl season.
He's back. Back again. Teddy's back. Woo! Welcome, everyone, to Wager Talk Today, and that is my rendition of, I think, a Backstreet Boys song. I don't know. Teddy, hey, what's wrong with the Backstreet Boys? You know what? Forget about it. How are you, man?
You're not supposed to confuse Eminem with the Backstreet Boys, dude. It's just no.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was an Eminem song. Good point. Yeah, that's Slim Shady. Okay, bad start. Let's start again. Teddy's back. Back again. Oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Eminem, everybody. Teddy, Marco joining us today. Kansas City Raider game, Chargers, Giants game, Adam Trigger, Bills, Bucks game, Browns, Ravens game, Andy Lang, 3 prop bets. It's all NFL, bro. How are you? I know you had a rough freaking week, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I knew I was feeling under the weather on Monday, and I got through the 2 shows. Wager Talk Today and opening line report. I'm like, all right, I'll take a nap, which once in a while on Mondays I got to do because I'm an old guy now. And I basically slept for 2 days. I never woke up, and then since then we've been trying to get back upright. And of course, you took a couple of COVID tests in this era. I didn't feel like I had COVID, didn't have any of the symptoms of COVID. I had the flu. I'm all congested. I'm sneezing. I'm sleepy. It's, that type of stuff. 2 negative tests. Yesterday, I sat up and moved around and ate a bunch. And today, we're back on air, man. So I am feeling better. I'm still not 100%. But unfortunately, it's been kind of a lost week from a sports betting perspective. The good news is that we are locked and loaded for the NFL this weekend. And we work at hoops over the course of the next 24 hours. How about you, Prez? How you feeling today?
Well, I had a bit of a rough week too. I had mouth surgery. I had 2 screws put in up here because I have screws loose.
Not anymore.
And my mouth was killing. But it was all good, man. No complaints at all. We don't need to do a what did we learn because you haven't done anything. But I got to tell. Oh, you want to do a what did we learn?
We got to do. We have to talk about Chase Claypool, dude. We have to.
How about that whole game? That whole freaking fourth quarter was unbelievable drama. And you know what? Before you get into there, I want to tell you. I want to set up my drama. I'm on over 216 in the Utah game. It gets to 214, and Philadelphia has the ball for like 30 seconds and just dribbles it out and then hands the ball over to Philly, and hands it over to Utah. They didn't even take a shot. They didn't even attempt to go over. Yeah. Then I had the New York Islanders up 3-2 with 5 minutes to go, and the Nashville tied at 3-3. And then Nashville scored the game winner with 11 seconds on the clock. And that led me to...
You're not running good last night.
No, well, that led me to the Minnesota Vikings. I was on them too. You could be rest assured, I thought I was going to lose that play. The way it was playing out in my head was they were going to get the touchdown and miss the 2-point conversion.
Of course.
Yeah.
It felt that way.
But alas, they didn't. Chase.
So Chase Claypool with a bonehead play. All right. When there's 40 seconds left and you have a choice between handing the ball off to the official with no timeouts or deciding to make the first down pose and then having the ball get knocked out by one of your teammates who's trying to grab it and you lose 12 seconds. Counted out. It's 12 seconds that got lost on Chase Claypool's play, which
Two
may have been the
more
difference.
plays at the goal line. Two more plays,
Which
at the
may
goal
have, well, they never got to the goal line, but they had to, but may have been the difference
11.
between winning or losing. All right, or certainly covering or not covering for Pittsburgh. And the vitriol was instantaneous. Chase Claypool, biggest brain fart ever, biggest jerk ever. Oh my God, these athletes, yada yada yada. And it's like, did you ever cost your team a game, Prez, in any sport? Because I know I did in every sport I played. All right,
I cost my team a game every Tuesday night.
Yeah,
my specialty is scoring on my own net.
Sure. I returned a fumble for a touchdown the wrong way once. All right.
No.
I had 2 free throws.
Down
one. With 1 second left on the clock. All I had to do, we're down 1. I got 2 free throws. I get fouled. And I'm at the line. I'm like, all I got to do is hit 1. I'm an okay free throw shooter. Brick. We lose the game. That was our only chance for a win the whole year.
More. Tell us more.
You want more? I got it's a baseball one. I was a good pitcher. That was the only thing I was ever good at. But the biggest game I ever pitched, playoff game, I had nothing, dude. Nothing. They brought me in. They brought me in to quell the rally, and I just threw meatball after meatball. I got bombed. Biggest game I was ever in, worst I ever did. That's bad. So the point is this. He's a professional athlete. He's supposed to know better. Everybody screws up. We're all human, whether you make $10 million a year or $1 a year. We're all human. And after the game, to go, Chase Claypool, we hate you. You're the worst human being. You screwed The Steelers were a wrong side. Chase Claypool made a mental mistake, but he wasn't the only reason Pittsburgh lost last night. It's a little bit much with the vitriol. I really thought that Claypool, he made a bonehead play. It happens. Hall of Fame.
Teddy.
You and I have
Teddy.
as well. I thought it was a bit much on Chase Claypool.
Okay. I agree as well. However, I do want to point out when you said his bonehead move, I didn't know which of the two you were talking about. There were 2 bonehead moves by Clay. One was this way, this right in front of the ref, and really was just complete brain fart. Real quick, Teddy, I'm 16 years old. I'm on a 4x100 meter relay team. Yes, this little juke is fast. With that said, I ran the 3rd leg, which is around the bend. And the plan was for me to take the baton on the last step and hand it off on the first step so that I kept my distance to 80 meters and the 2 monsters ran 110 each. We set the Canadian record for under 16, fastest time in history of Canada. We go to the Canadian National Championships, and I dropped the baton.
Sure. We're all human. Period.
So there's a story about Marco dropping chicken wings in the middle of a football game. Fell on the floor, I say. Marco D'Angelo joining us. What up, bro? You have any of these Teddy, Marco's cannot have a story like this. I mean, athlete and Marco, no. Marco's story is like, I had aces, but I sneezed and one fell on the floor, so they got mucked.
Oh, Prez.
Oh, Marco.
Teddy, you missed the when you were talking about Chase Claypool, you missed the second part of it is he's yelling at his players at the line of scrimmage after they finally did get to the line of scrimmage, still not knowing that he's costing his team time.
No, I disagree. I seriously, I watched that replay like 15 times. I was fascinated by it. And he didn't. He wasn't. He was trying to get into position. The ball was out of the way. He was trying to find out where to line up. He wasn't yelling at his guys to that they knocked the ball out of his hands. That's simply... It's not what happened. I watched that one clip over and over and over again. So I'm not buying that. No.
Well, I can tell you this much. The Steelers have a knack for drafting great wide receivers. They also have a knack of, drafting prima donnas. And Chase Claypool in the last few weeks has really moved up the ladder quick to replace Antonio Brown. I don't know if you saw the locker room situation this week. He wanted Mike Tomlin to play music at practice.
Yes.
Yes. Nice guy. He wouldn't have dropped, they wouldn't have dropped the ball and such if they would have had music probably in practice. But what are you going to do? That was a tough game last night, guys. I had Minnesota and I sweated. I have less hair today, but I really looked like an idiot at the bar we were at last night because I was in full Steeler gear cheering for Minnesota. People must have thought I was bipolar. And if I did drop a chicken wing, that would have been the reason.
You were wearing full Steeler gear cheering for Minnesota.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I was on the over in the Leaf game a couple of nights ago, and I went to the Leaf game all dressed up in Leaf gear as well. And every time the other team scored, I went bananas. So I get it, Marco. So Marco D'Angelo, everybody, 8 winning days out of the last 10. Your 4 and 5% plays on an 8-2 run, bro. Awesome stuff. I mean, you really have had an outstanding run of late. Not of late, like almost the entire calendar year, right?
Minus Thanksgiving week. It still sticks in my craw. You could have a great year, and it was bad because it was a holiday week. We had so many people on board with that big promotion we ran at WagerTalk Thanksgiving week. It's, what do they say? Murphy's Law. It's gotta, if you're going to have a bad week, it's going to be the week that you got the most people on board. And, but we've recovered since then. So I'm happy with where we are at, and let's just keep it rolling and close out December and roll into 2022. And honestly, Prez, this was the time last year that I got hot. It started in December for me, and it just kick-started the whole year. So I'm hoping we have a replay of that.
There you go, everyone. Marco, let's get into it. Speaking of hot, Kansas City Chiefs on a nice winning streak. Speaking of not, the Raiders are seeing their season slip away. Plus 9.5, big total of medium total, 48. Where are you going in this game, bro?
Yeah, you know what? On that plus 9.5, I would wait till Sunday. I think this game's going to get to 10. We've seen a few books start to head that way. I like the Raiders in this game, and this is a spot, and I know you guys talk about it on the show all the time, and I agree with it 100%. Revenge is the most overused word in sports, but there are spots that I still like revenge, and this is one of them. I like taking a road team in the second meeting of the season when they got blasted at home. They're a big road dog now in the rematch, and this is a spot for Kansas City that I'm a situational guy. The situation is horrible for Kansas City. They're on a roll. I get it. They've won 5 in a row, playing their best football of the season, and everybody's talking about that defense, how good it is they've held 5 straight opponents to 17 points or less. But we could go back and look at the opponents, and they either played bad offenses or teams that had a star player out of the lineup. The 2 great offenses that they faced were Green Bay and Dallas. Green Bay was without Aaron Rodgers. In the Dallas game, you didn't have Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb, which totally changes the complexion of the Dallas offense. I'm not sold on the Chiefs, but the reason I am going to go against them here, not because I'm just not sold on them, the spot. They've already beat the Raiders in an embarrassing fashion on Sunday Night Football a few weeks back, which happened to have been the second week in the first home game since the tragic accident with Henry Ruggs. That team was in total disarray. Just scratch that game out of your memory banks. Now you've got them coming off a big win last week over Denver, which if you go back and look at the stats, you would think the wrong team won the game. Denver was in that game. It was a 22-9 game. It turned on a pick 6. They had over 400 yards of offense to like 280 for KC in that one. And look at who Kansas City has on deck. They play on Thursday night on the road in 4 days at LA Chargers in a revenge game for KC. I'm going to go ahead and take the Raiders here. I know it's ugly. I'll hold my nose when I get to the window, but I'm on the Raiders plus the points.
So I'm going to ask you this. You kind of poo-pooed the fact that Kansas City's held their last 5 opponents to 17 or less. Are you a believer in this Chiefs defense? And if not, why not?
Well, I'm not a believer in it 100%. Is it improved? Yes, Teddy, it is. And part of it, they got some players back mid-season, which if you remember last year, they did the same thing. They got better the second half of the season. But again, when you play the Giants that doesn't have a good offense, you play the Raiders, who were in total disarray at the time. In Denver last week, Teddy Bridgewater moved them between the 20s, but they couldn't get the job done when they got inside the 20. And like I said, the 2 good teams were without key offensive players. Green Bay, you're going to say that the Green Bay game was impressive, holding them to 7 points with Jordan Love? No. We'll see what happens, this week. I think the Raiders will be better prepared. They've got nothing to lose. They can take chances in this game. And if you're KC, do you really want to, what's the point of winning big? Get in and get out. That's the type of, scenario I'm looking at, and it's going to be a theme when we get to the second game that I'm looking at this week.
Marco D. Marco, listen, I got to tell you a quick story about Teddy's week. So I speak to Teddy on the phone yesterday, and we hear guys watching the show. I give out movie reviews. I give out Netflix reviews. I give out book reviews. Teddy's like, I never have a chance to watch any of that. I'm so busy. I never see movies. I can't listen to music. It bothers me. Fun is bad. Anyway, Teddy tells me, he's like, Prez, man, I finally got to watch some movies. So I'm like, which one? Joy Luck Club. That was the movie Teddy chose.
No, that's the one that's stuck in your head. I had all these movies saved on DVR, and I watched a bunch of them. And yes, I watched Joy Luck Club. I watched Tenet. Tenet was awful. It didn't. A lot of them I didn't make it through. But yeah, I watched Joy Luck Club. What are you gonna do? I watch chick flicks sometimes.
I don't know you.
Yeah,
I don't know you. Did you watch The Notebook
book.
too?
The book's way better than the movie.
You read the book?
Yeah, that's why I watched the movie. Why else would I take that movie if I hadn't read the book?
If I had read the book, I certainly wouldn't watch the movie. I already know the damn ending anyway.
I like immigrant stories. What do you want to do? I'm an immigrant story. My family's an immigrant story. I like immigrant stories. I'm a sucker for it. Let's talk NFL.
Okay. He's a sucker for it. I think that's the Jonas Brothers. I don't know, though. I think. Dear God. New York Giants, LA Chargers. Marco, I like the Chargers in this spot. I spoke about it on the NFL presidential address, which is up now. You can find it at our YouTube channel, WagerTalk TV. I think you and I are going to disagree here.
We are, Prez. And this is, again, one of those classic spots. I love situational things. I love finding what I call a sandwich game. And if there was ever a sandwich spot, this is it. This is a big one, guys. You got the Chargers, who last week played Cincinnati. Well, that's not a division game, so why was that game big? Well, it was big because that's one of the teams they are battling with in the wild card race, which the Chargers are trying so desperately to get into the playoffs with. They beat Cincinnati in a game that they stormed out to a 24-0 lead. Suddenly it was 24-22, and then it was a blowout again at the end. Now they come home to play a Giants team that, Prez, I see on the surface, who is going to want to play the Giants? They look pathetic. They scored 9 points last week. Mike Glennon was a quarterback. He's now in concussion protocol. Daniel Jones is hurt. So what do they got to do for a quarterback? Well, you're going to start Jake Fromm, who wasn't even on the team 12 days ago. Am I nuts? Maybe. But I think he'll be able to do enough with this offense. He's had 12 days to get ready. They're putting a game plan in. It's going to be suited for him. Yeah, it's going to be a vanilla offense. But you're looking at the Chargers. You're coming off a big win last week in your biggest game of the season in 4 days. They got to turn around and play Kansas City on Thursday Night Football. This is a rare Thursday night appearance for the Chargers. They're a young team. They're still learning how to win with Justin Herbert and the coach. I think this is a game where your game plan is you get in, you get out, and you move on to Thursday. And that's not the formula for laying double digits, especially with a young team that is still learning how to win. I'm not laying points with them. I am on the Giants to keep this one close. I'm going to take the points. I think this one comes down to one of those late games. I'll give the Chargers the nod for a late field goal, but I'm grabbing the double digits with the Giants.
So as we speak, it doesn't look like the Chargers are going to have either Mike Williams or Keenan Allen this weekend. Both guys on the COVID protocol list. Both guys are listed as out right now. That could change between now and Sunday, but it doesn't look optimistic for either guy. If you've watched the Chargers this season, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This team has 2 wide receivers and no other wide receivers. There's not any receiving depth for LA at all. You're trying to make a case for Jake Fromm moving the football. He's like, he's had 12 days, and they have no film on him. Given the struggles of the Giants offense, given the issues this week with the Chargers offense, shouldn't we just play under in this game and forget about the side completely?
I agree with you 100% on the under as well, because part of it, whenever I use the phrase, this is a game you want to get in and you get out, that's a game where you run the football a lot because you want to shorten the game, the number of plays, and the chances for getting guys banged up. So, yes, I agree with you. That would be a correlated selection with the direction I'm going in the game. Will it be, just the no-brainer to go that way? You're going to see some adjustment in that line as we get closer to the weekend. So if you want to get that, get it now, because the Sharps will think the same way you are, Teddy, and they're going to wait to try to get confirmation on those 2 players. We've gotten burned too many times this year with guys that were not going to be on a COVID list, then were, and vice versa. So I hate playing totals early in the week because of weather this time of the year, not a factor in LA, of course, but also the COVID's, on and off list.
Marco D'Angelo, everyone. Marco, what do you got to promote, bro?
Well, right now, all I got to promote is we've won 8 of the last 10 days. I have no plays up for Friday yet. That will be happening in the next couple hours when I get off the show, tearing it apart. But we've been grinding it out. We've been releasing 3-4 plays a day, grinding out profits each day, and the top play has been money for the last 10 days. So check it out. Always good on a Friday, Prez, to hook up with one of those 3-day all-access plays. That's the best value. Get everything Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you know what Saturdays are like with college basketball. One football game, and then, of course, NBA, hockey, everything else. That's the way to go at WagerTalk.
Man, that was a good segment, brother. And he ended it with hook up. And when I think of Marco and hook up, I think get in, get out. Teddy, let's take a quick break. We're right back. Your big game breakdown, Adam Trigger, and of course, Kyle Anthony. Someone.
First, we at WagerTalk would like to thank everyone, as a record number of you took advantage of our Thanksgiving 7-day special. We hope you enjoyed the convenience of getting your favorite handicappers plays daily during the hectic holiday weekend, and we also know that December can be a crazy month. Now we are offering a rest of calendar year special. Get every NFL, college bowl game, NBA, NHL, college basketball games, and all other sports of your favorite handicapper through December 31st for only $249. The early bird really does catch a worm for this special, as it starts the day you sign up. No coupon needed. Pay only $249 today or pay $249 in a few days. The choice is simple. Let's have a great ending to 2021.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's go to the NFL on Sunday and talk a pretty big matchup, potential Super Bowl preview perhaps. The Bills and the Bucks in Tampa Bay. Right now, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing Tampa -3.5 just about everywhere. Total, let's call it 53.5. There is some variance on the total. We know that Tom Brady has owned Buffalo 32-3 against the Bills when they were division rivals. That sets the NFL record, most wins by a quarterback against any opponent. And of course, 17 AFC titles. And we know that the Bucs can clinch the AFC South, the NFC South, I should say, their first division title since 2007 with a win this week. So Brady's had the Bills number, and certainly plenty for Tampa to play for here. All that being said, and of course, we have a Bills team that hasn't played great football of late. Certainly nothing like the team that we saw last year that, had their deepest playoff run in 27 years, team that won their most games since 91. They're 3-4 in their last 7 games. They're coming off a bad Monday Night Football loss to New England, in which they basically had the ball run down their throat for the entire contest. Josh Allen, only 9 touchdowns over the last 5 games. He turned the ball over 9 times during that same span. And of course, the big injury loss, Trey White at cornerback. This is where the injury matters, facing a team like Tampa Bay. All that being said, let's take a look at the Bills off a loss the last 2 years. Last year, they lost back-to-back once, and then they won 27-17, and 18-10 off of losses. This year off a loss, 35-0, 26-11, 45-17, 31-6. So, yeah, that's off their last 6 losses. They've come back with a win by more than a touchdown the next game each and every time. So they didn't move the football against New England. They got 4 trips inside the Patriots' 20. The red zone offense didn't work against a pretty good red zone defense. Bucs red zone defense isn't that good. They were 4 times again in the red zone. Only came away with 10 points in that contest. And the quote, it's like the same quote from Josh Allen. I feel like I've read this quote multiple times. This is from last week. There's no panic in our locker room. We're extremely united right now with what we need to do. We're a hungry team. We want to get out there and prove what kind of team we are, not to the media or anyone else, but to ourselves. Because we know the type of guys we have in this locker room and the team that we can be. It's not like the Bucs secondary is any good. Last week, they were on their number 6 and number 7 cornerbacks. I don't trust Tampa to lay up Price in this game, not to win by margin. And I think Side and Toll are absolutely related in this ballgame. Tampa's going to get theirs. That's a good offense. If Buffalo gets theirs, they're going to cover this game, and this game's going to go over the total. And I think the Bills will. So I look for the Bills plus the points. I look for over 53.5. There's your big game breakdown. Bucs and Bills. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Killer stuff, Teddy Covers. Let's bring Adam Trigger in, and let's start right off the bat with, did you get through the Survivor last week?
We did, Prez. We ended up going with the Dolphins, which you said was the play very early in the week. So that was what we landed on, and it was an ugly game, but they were just less ugly than the Giants, and we are through. So 23 people left.
How many people?
Not sure.
How many?
23 remain.
Wow.
And it'll be a tough decision this week. It looks like we're going to have to come up with something out of like Chargers, Broncos, Seahawks. We still have the Titans and Packers. The problem with the Packers and the Titans is they're
games that are minus double digits to choose between.
Yeah, but here's the problem. Like, Christmas is its own week in this contest. And those are the only 2 teams we have on Christmas, Titans, Packers. So, if we use one of them, then we that's my concern, right? Is like using one and then there's like a COVID outbreak or something, and like you got to keep those teams. But I mean, what about the Chargers? Well, that was like what we were kind of settled on early in the week, but I agree with a lot of what Marco said just now.
Marco doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, but if the way I look at it, if those 2 guys have COVID, there's probably other guys that could have it. So I don't know. They're up there. It's probably going to be Chargers or Broncos, like, for us.
I want to jump in real quick. This is a season-long contest in which every week you can choose between all the games, but just for Christmas, It's a one game. Is there
No,
one game on Christmas?
and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, there's 3 games. There's at least a choice.
There's 3 games.
No, there's 3 games, on Christmas too.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're using Titans 49ers on Thursday night as the 3rd game. So they're using Titans 49ers and then the 2 Christmas Day games, which are Packers Browns, Colts Cardinals. So
you like that or no?
We've burned
that they changed the contest rules kind of, to get more people.
Yeah, I think there was I think there was too many people that chopped at the end of the year last year, so they were trying to put in another sort of week to thin the field out, although I'm pretty sure we're already below the number of people that split last year. I want to say like 24 or 5 people chopped it last year, so we're already down to 23. It's probably going to be, a far lower number that get to the finish line. Hopefully we're one of them, but,
Well, we're going to keep bringing you on every Friday. We're going to keep watching and cheering for you, Adam. We're excited for you. I gave you Miami last week for 5% of the pool. I give you the Chargers this week for another 5%. And we have a deal. Everyone's heard it. It's been taped. Let's get to it, dude. Bills and Bucks. Teddy did a big breakdown on this game already. He likes the Bills. He likes the over as well. He thinks they're correlated. I agree. I like the over in this game. How are you betting it?
Yeah, I didn't even realize that was Teddy's big game. So I pop on here and I'm watching it, waiting to come on. And I'm thrilled to see that Teddy's on the same side I am here. I like the Bills plus 3.5. I already released this. It's a 4% play for me. I had the Bills. I had a perfect NFL weekend going last weekend into Monday night, 5% play on the Bills. And I really feel like I got gypped by the weather there. I'll make like a poker analogy here. I'll make a poker analogy here.
Off grounds. No.
Yeah, it was just Belichick played a bad hand better than Sean McDermott did. But like Teddy said, the Bills kept getting down there and they just couldn't punch it in. And I don't think they're going to have that same issue against the Bucs. The Bills should be able to throw all over this Bucs defense. They don't defend the pass well. And the one thing on Monday night that ended up being the killer was Belichick ran the ball every single play, and the Bills couldn't generate any pressure on Mac Jones, which is really what their defense does the best. This will be, we're not going to be in that same situation with the weather here. So the Bills pass rush should be able to pressure Brady. And that's typically when the Bucs are vulnerable, is when defenses can get to Brady. I'm not a big trends guy, but I found one earlier this week. Last 20 years, Bills off of playing the Patriots are 68% against the spread. I chalk that up to the fact that the Bills have lost probably most of those games the last 20 years. They probably tend to be a little bit more focused, but Teddy was just talking about the Bills off of a loss, looking like a pretty good play on spot as well. So yeah, I think there's some nice line value here too. I locked this in at plus 3.5. I think it was minus 115. You'll probably still get minus 120 or minus 125 for that plus 3.5. But that to me, in this game, which I have pretty even, I probably would have made this number closer to a pick. I think if you can get a field goal head start with the Bills here, that's a pretty solid play. The Bucs, I'll say this. I think I was going to call them very overrated. I think they're the most overvalued team in the league right now. And that kind of makes sense, right? Defending Super Bowl champs, Tom Brady, but I just don't see this team being as lethal as they were last year. I think this is a good spot to back the Bills off of a loss. So I'm going to take my chances with those 3.5 points in the Bills on Sunday.
Let's talk about another huge matchup for the weekend. That would be Cleveland and Baltimore. You have the Browns coming off the bye. You have the Ravens coming off a series of bizarre games for Baltimore. It really has been. In theory, it's short turnaround revenge for Cleveland, who just lost to Baltimore right before they had their break. Browns, about a 2.5-point favorite in most locations right now. There are some threes popping up. Total sitting in the 42.5 range. What do we do with this one? Cleveland and Baltimore.
So I was on the Browns Sunday Night Football 2 weeks ago, And I'm just going to come right back on the Browns here because I felt like I was right in that matchup. And, some things didn't go my way. It ended up being a Justin Tucker field goal to sink me against 3.5 with a minute left. But, it's a really odd scheduling spot, right? Like the Browns' last game was against the Ravens, and they have a bye week, which they get to go into the bye week and essentially adjust to what went wrong in the Ravens game to then come back and play them again. So I think the scheduling spot absolutely favors Cleveland here. And then you have a Ravens team that's just, their defense is just dropping like flies. Marlon Humphrey done for the year. It's possible they're without a starter in the secondary in this game. I mean, they've got like big time injuries, especially to the secondary. I mean, right now on their injury report, I think everyone in the Ravens secondary, with maybe the exception of one starter, is like listed. So that's something to keep an eye on. But you could see like 3-4 starters potentially out on the Ravens defense here. And then, I look back to that game 2 weeks ago, and the Browns played a great defensive game, right? They picked off Lamar Jackson 4 times. Really, like if Lamar Jackson doesn't pull the rabbit out of his hat and find Mark Andrews in the end zone on that just kind of outrageous play where he's 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage and hits Mark Andrews in the end zone, I think the Browns probably win that game. So for me here, you have a Ravens team. They're very banged up. And I look at the last 4 Ravens game. The reason I'm okay with laying a couple points with the Browns, it doesn't seem like it takes many points to beat the Ravens anymore. You look at their last month, 22-10 loss to the Dolphins. They barely beat the Bears 16-13. The final in that Browns game was 16-10. With the Browns a minute away from covering. Justin Tucker hits a field goal to put it over the spread. And then last week, a 20-19 loss to Pitt. The Browns D is really solid, and their run defense is good. And I always, over the last couple of years, I've kind of looked to fade the Ravens when Jackson's going to have to throw the ball to win. So, like I said, I was on the Browns in this game 2 weeks ago, and I'll lay the small number. I think Cleveland gets them back here and covers in the process.
Adam Trigger, everyone. Guys, only 73 thumbs up. Take a split second and hit that like button for us. We need 27 more for the daily presidential address. Adam, really outstanding job, man. I know we're up against it, but I do want to make quick mention because on this segment, Adam, you basically gave an excuse to why you didn't win the Bills game, and then you gave an excuse to why you didn't win the Cleveland game. One of our listeners writes, gypped by the weather, an L is an L. And
there is.
Moore, we love having you on here, but let me say something. It's not about giving excuses, and it's certainly not about an L is an L. Adam, Teddy, myself, and everybody who comes on the show handicaps sports betting for a living. And going back and taking apart a loss and a win and finding out the reasons why we lost or won is literally one of the foundations of becoming better. It's not about the excuse. What?
We used to call it the post-mortem. We go through every game
and I'll
that
say,
you bet, win or lose.
I'll say one thing quick too.
Knows why you won or lost it to help you for the future.
Right.
I do it every week. I've done it for 25 years. That's absolutely a part of the process.
Yeah, and part of the reason I bring it up, I think a lot of times there is a little bit of like value, like in going back. If you lost with a team last week, like they might actually be a pretty good bet the following week because they may, if you assess that they were a little bit undervalued last week and they lost, well, chances are they're probably even more undervalued the following week. So that's actually why I kind of bring it up. Not so much to, vent, but like say, I thought the Bills were a really strong play on Monday night. They didn't get it done. Here's why I think they didn't get it done. And now there's even more value on them coming back this week because they're coming off a loss. So that's kind of why I bring it up.
Adam Trigger, just an awesome job, man. We are right up against it. We're going from Adam to Andy. Andy freaking Lang, my brother. Before we get into anything, probably the biggest Formula One race maybe in history. I mean, it's got to be a top fiver. I mean, when have they come in tied? Lewis Hamilton minus 163, Max 187 to the plus. We did not discuss you even talking about this. Do you have any thoughts on Formula One?
Yeah, I think this race sets up pretty well for Mercedes. You can see Max on full tilt, the way he's racing. He's out of control. Yeah. He's reckless. I mean, he's really causing some troubles. He got penalized. And this happens with a young driver. You can see Lewis Hamilton really starting to flex his muscle with the Mercedes car. And this track sets up pretty well for him. I think Max might be pushing it a little bit too hard. They got to reel him in. And if they don't, he's going to make big mistakes. So you got to be looking towards Lewis Hamilton at this point.
Yeah, well, what about Valerie Bottas at plus 1,000 and sneaking in, still in a Mercedes car?
Valerie Bottas, no thanks. The only thing Valtteri has won recently is his contract with Mercedes. Other than that, it's been a lot of L's.
What do you mean? I thought he's moving to another team next year.
L. You're moving from Mercedes to another team. L.
Andy, we got 3 prop bets and a promotion. Let me give out the promotion first, and then, given that we're up against it, we're just going to hand the mic to you. Andy 50, everyone, $50 off of a 7-day all-access pass. You got a 5% of NFL play up. You got a 5% UFC play going this weekend. Feel free to continue to discuss that or get right into your prop bets.
Let's just get right into the prop bets. We'll just start with Marquise Brown over 4.5 receptions. Really like this prop. So Lamar Jackson has not been playing at a high level. That's no secret. But he's throwing a lot of short passes to Marquise Brown, and that's good enough to cash a lot of reception props on the over. Brown has had 5 or more receptions in 8 out of 11 games this season, and he's had 5 straight games with more than 4.5. Double-digit targets in 4 out of 5 games, so we love to see that. And November 28th, these two teams played each other. Brown had 10 targets and 8 catches. I think it's going to be a very similar script where you're going to see low yards from Marquise Brown, but a lot of receptions on those short out passes and screens. So look at Marquise Brown over 4.5 receptions. I'm going to go to a wide receiver who's really been struggling. Poor Courtland Sutton. I got to take him under 39.5 yards receiving. The return of Jerry Jeudy to the lineup has just taken away all of his productions. So when Jerry Jeudy was out, Sutton had 5 straight games with 40 yards or more. Jerry Jeudy comes back. He's had under 30 yards in 4 straight games, and he's had 2 or fewer catches in those games. So he's not getting targets. He's not getting catches. They're playing the Lions, who give up a decent amount of rushing yards. I can see the Broncos wanting to use their running backs a lot this week. It's probably going to mean fewer passes, especially if they get ahead. So Courtland Sutton has got to be a fade right now. I'll take him under 39.5 yards receiving. And Antonio Gibson, this one should make everyone slate. Antonio Gibson over 66.5 yards rushing. He's been a huge part of Washington's 4-game win streak. First game of their win streak, he had 64 yards against Tampa. That's an elite rush defense. Next 3 games, 95 yards against Carolina, 111 against Seattle, and 88 against Las Vegas. Dallas gives up 111 rushing yards a game, and they're getting worse. They gave up 126 yards to Kansas City, next 146 to Las Vegas, then 153 to the Saints. Pollard is hurt. Zeke is not as 100%. This could be a close game. It could even be a situation where Washington is ahead. I'm not sure Dallas gets up big on Washington. So I think Antonio Gibson is going to be running the ball all game. This 66.5 yards rushing is way too low. This is an easy overplay for me. And yeah, you mentioned the promo code. I know you guys had Kyle Anthony on. This next 2 weeks in UFC is huge. This might be one of the biggest 2-week stretches in UFC I've seen in a long time. To cash in. I know we've got some great UFC handicappers on WagerTalk.com. Really look at some of these UFC plays that WagerTalk is putting out. I've been licking my lips for a few weeks on the next 2 weeks. So we got a 5% play up for this week, and then I'm sure we'll have another one for next week. So make sure you're looking at those UFC plays.
Awesome, Andy. I know Teddy's got to follow up, but real quick, Kyle Hintelian writes in the chat room, this show's not good. You're right, Kyle. It's great. freaking amazing. Literally the pinnacle of shows, Teddy.
So you were talking about Antonio Gibson with your last recommendation, and Gibson going over the total. I was just reading that Dallas is going to have their starting defensive line back on the field healthy together for the first time all year. Big upgrade on the DL from where they've been in recent weeks. Does that concern you for this matchup? Because it concerned me. I was definitely looking at the Washington football team plus the points, and I kind of talked myself out of it with that latest news on the injury front for Dallas. You worried about Dallas being healthy up front on the defensive side of the football?
It's obviously a concern. You obviously, when you're taking overs, you'd love to have a banged up defensive line, but what I think overcomes this is just Washington's real commitment to Gibson. The last 4 weeks, 24 carries, 19 carries, 29 carries, 23 carries. So they're just giving him the ball against everyone, whether they're down, whether it's close, whether they're ahead. I think that overcomes it. If he gets off to a slow start, this is not a team that abandons the running game. This isn't, if he gets, starts off with 5 carries for 7 yards, they don't just go away from him. They give him a lot of carries. He was diagnosed with a stress fracture in his leg, which is still mind-blowing to me that he played all season. He obviously has recovered from it and is healthy. So I think the commitment to Gibson from Washington overcomes the health of the Dallas line.
Andy Lang, awesome stuff, Andy. You got a promo again. It is Andy 50. That's Andy 50, $50 off of a 7-day all access pass. Guys, no need to rip on Kyle. It's okay. Everyone's allowed an opinion. Some love Nana Muscuri and others love Pink Floyd. Let's go. Daily presidential address. Get out of here, Andy. All right, what a show. What a show. If you guys are watching this on Twitter, check out WagerTalk Today. Our YouTube channel is WagerTalk TV. We are closing in on 100,000 subscribers. And, Friday's show was just spectacular. It was NFL. Marco D'Angelo looked at the Vegas-Kansas City game, the Giants-Chargers game. Adam Trigger came on, looked at the Bills and Bucks, the Browns and Ravens. Teddy did a deep dive into the Bills and Bucks game. And then we had Andy Lang with a whole bunch of prop bets. It was just such a great show as well. Andy likes Lewis Hamilton for Sunday in probably the biggest F1 race of all time. I got some free picks for you guys, but I do want to quickly mention I lost both my 5% NFL plays last week, but I got one this Sunday. So I'm going to win it. And it's my first ever NFL teaser. 5% teaser play, my first ever in my entire life. Probably my favorite teaser in a long, long time. So check that out. Okay, 5 bets for you guys. Let's go right off the bat with the Colorado Avalanche over the total. I normally do not bet over 6.5, but man, this Colorado team is scoring 7 themselves. 7 goals in their last 2 games. I think they're going to get way over this total. I like Vancouver tonight, minus 135 against the Winnipeg Jets. I think this Vancouver team is a buy-on team moving forward. I think the Jets are a buy-on team too, just not tonight. I like the Devils tonight as well. 2 NFL games. I like the Lions and the Broncos under the total. And I like the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm betting both those NFL plays. Teddy, I got a bagel with cream cheese, tomato, cucumber, and onions waiting upstairs for me. Please take us home.
That's going to wrap it for the week here on WagerTalk Today. We'll be back again Monday morning, like we do each and every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon for you on the East Coast. Between now and Monday's show, enjoy the games and have a profitable betting weekend. Good luck.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, college football bowl season, baby. and there are 42 bowl and playoff games to keep us entertained for almost 3.5 weeks. Starting with Toledo versus Middle Tennessee State and going through the national championship on Monday, January 10th, pick your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper and get every college football bowl game they release, including any 5% best bets normally priced at $35 for the low price of $149. As an added bonus, make sure to download the free WagerTalk College Football Bowl Guide by going to wt.buzz/rm. From everyone at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, good luck this college football bowl season.